Sam, thanks for chatting to us, mate. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a zoologist and an ichthyologist, which is the study of fish for anyone that's interested.
It's such a great word.
Yeah, it is. What did you do? What did you study? And I say that and like, okay, yeah, no idea what that is. But yeah, it was a just kind of slightly more focused part of zoology, which was for me really interesting. I studied that in South Africa and lived there for 3 years. It was a kind of natural progression to start guiding from doing zoology, which kind of allowed me to have a bit of a deeper sort of understanding of how everything fits together in the bush. I got the opportunity to move up to the Serengeti, which has been a dream since I was kind of tiny. I was 5 or 6 years old, and I painted my bedroom sort of bright orange with silhouetted acacia trees and giraffes, and I'd always wanted to go to the Serengeti specifically. The most amazing place for me personally that I could have gone to.
So it seems like there was almost an inevitability about your career path from the time you were very, very young. What is it about Africa? Such a broad question because Africa has 50 plus countries, so vast and diverse, but what is it about Africa for you that if you stood before a room of 100 people, what would you tell them?
You're right. It's such a broad thing, but for me, there's a connection that I feel wherever I land in Africa, wherever I'm guiding, wherever I'm going. As soon as I kind of touch down there, I feel this connection with the land. You speak to the first person, and there's this big smile. Everyone's really, really friendly, welcoming, wants you to be there. It's hard to put your finger on it, but there's a connection with the land there. And I don't think about emails. I don't think about work calls. I just think, okay, I'm here in whichever country. We're about to have an amazing experience, and I just focus on that. I think also knowing that there are completely wild places out there that we're about to go to, and being brought up in the UK, spending a bit of time back here now, you can't find wild spaces. It's either urban or agriculture, pretty much the whole place. I mean, you can get up to Scotland, which we do as much as we can, and you can go and ramble around some wild places there. But to be honest, I'd rather do it in Africa, which is untouched, full of animals. There's no leopards over here, which is a bit of a drawback. But yeah, I think it's that wild spaces that haven't been touched by humans, or at least are being conserved in the way that they always have been. If you haven't been, you will know what I'm talking about once you've been there, I think is kind of a fair way of putting it.
I sometimes get a little bit frustrated trying to tell people how wonderful it is and how it will potentially change your life. I'm glad you mentioned that. Everyone has that sort of beaming smile, that positivity, so much against many of the stereotypes watching the news if you're sitting in London or Sydney or New York or wherever.
Having done your first safari, you'll get bitten by the safari bug and you'll want to go back and back. But it's so difficult to describe what that actually means to someone that hasn't been before.
What kind of tips do you have for people who are, heading out on safari for the first time? Maybe it's the third or fourth time. What, from your vast experience in the bush now, all over, southern East Africa as well, what are the essentials when you kind of pare it back?
It kind of goes back to photography, because almost everyone going on safari will be wanting to take photos. And I've been very lucky to see incredible sights. There were a few that I regret not actually watching, just sitting behind my camera the whole time. So a big tip is take a few photos if there's something amazing going on, definitely, but then put the camera down and just watch, see what's happening, ask questions with your guide if there's something that kind of is different to what you've seen before or what you expected. our job is to interpret what's going on and enhance your experience. So, and the way to do that is to explain, especially animal behavior, which is such an interesting kind of topic to delve into. Take some binoculars with you, or at least make sure that you've got a pair that you can share, because someone in the back would pipe up, "Oh, I think I saw something." If you think you saw something, stop, go and check. It doesn't matter if it's a branch, if it's a rock, whatever it is, rather check. And I'm now back and forth all the time, still learning as we all are, and that's a big part of what Epic do. We're always back and forth. All of it, me and you, Rob, Brad, the whole operations team are always chatting about what's new, what's happening, what's good, what's maybe kind of slipped a bit we need to address, and that's how we kind of keep the product or what we do sort of the best we can make it for our clients.
A trip that's close to your own heart, and obviously the things that you love doing, and that's fishing, and that's chasing tigers in the Okavango. Explain a little bit about this safari, Sam.
So next September, we've got it's a week's fly fishing and safari in the Okavango Delta, 2 different spots. One sort of right in the middle of the delta on a lagoon, plenty of wildlife around. Kind of the idea, the picture is you're on a boat drifting down the one of these channels with sort of papyrus around you, fish eagle pulling overhead, a herd of elephants swimming through the lagoon, and you're there fly fishing, drinking a G&T, taking everything in. I'm a fly fisherman. I enjoy it a lot, and tigerfish, endemic to Africa, are just one of the most incredible species to catch. They're probably the hardest fighting freshwater fish. It's all catch and release there in the delta, going back to sort of protected areas. But it's just kind of another dimension to a safari, and you still get the whole wildlife experience, but you can go fishing as well for anyone that's interested in that. So we're running that next September. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.